All right, let's talk about insulation for a garden suite. Guess what? It's exactly the same like any other house, except it's going to be smaller, but it is important, so let's talk about it. Right now, I'm holding a piece of Rockwool insulation in my hand. This stuff is pretty good. It's more moisture resistant and it has acoustic properties compared to your standard pink fiberglass insulation. So we actually use this on the roof space. That allows a little bit of sound separation, especially since we have a metal roof. So that's pretty good. So let's talk about what the requirements are actually for insulation. Now, it's going to depend on the energy efficiency package that you use in the Ontario Building Code. Okay, so the most common package is going to be A1. You're required to have R22 insulation on the walls. Okay, so you can see R22. So the R value is really just a metric that they use to determine how well this is being insulated. So this is essentially 6 inches of this Rockwool insulation. That gives us the R22 value. On the roof itself, because we have a vaulted ceiling, that's required to be R31. So that's roughly around 10 inches of this insulation. Now, if you had an attic space, which means that it's going to be a flat ceiling and there's going to be a cavity between the roof and the ceiling, which is going to be it's going to be an unheated space, we are required to have R60. So that's almost 20 inches of insulation. All right, so that covers walls, ceilings, and roof. Now let's talk about the ground. Now you can see on the ground here, it's just a concrete pad. Now, obviously, you know, we're above grade here. It's a slab on grade. Some of this heat is going to go into the ground and we want to minimize heat transfer into the ground. So before we poured this concrete, we actually had 2 inches of foam insulation to give us R10. Okay, so that is the other requirement. We need R10 insulation under the slab to prevent heat, or not prevent, but minimize heat from transferring through the ground. The other thing I want to talk about is the air vapor barrier. Okay, so this is this plastic here. Okay, so this is a 6 mil poly air vapor barrier. This needs to be installed on the warm side of the insulation. Okay, and that ensures that air and vapor cannot travel through the exterior wall here. You can see that there's this blue tuck tape. So anywhere where there are seams, punctures, or any gaps like that, that needs to be taped up. You can see the electrical box here. So obviously there's going to be a hole. This needs to be sealed up so that we don't get any moisture or air traveling through, because over time you're going to get moisture building up in there and then you're going to get mold and rot, etc. Right? Okay, so air vapor barrier, very important, needs to be installed on the warm side of the insulation. All right, so that covers insulation and air vapor barriers at a very high level. Again, same as a regular house. So hopefully you found that information useful, and we'll see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching our video. We have a brand new garden suite guide, how to add one to your property. You can download a copy right now for free if you go to www.suiteeditions.com. We cover a ton of stuff you need to know if you want to start building these to create more housing and wealth at the same time. There's also a list of resources that we've identified that you can use. Download your copy now for free at www.suiteeditions.com.